It is very kind of you to wish that the channel understands he is appreciated, and he does, but that's not a reason for you to be sad. Because, again, the idea is that if you are holding on to the concept of the channel feeling appreciation, which is something that grows, but you are sad, then the vibration of the sadness is diminishing the appreciation. Do you understand?
I do.
So, there is no reason for you to feel sad. The channel is perfectly fine.
Great.
Remember that we are taking care of things.
You are.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So,
moving on.
moving on. All right. So, a couple months ago, I had the divine revelation of everything you just talked about.
How synchronous of you.
Yes, it's great. So, I had the divine revelation that I need to let go of my past.
Yes.
I grew up with a very traumatic background that I...
Did you?
Well, I used my permission slip
Yes.
to believe that my
All
traumatic life made me who I am today.
And now you know that's not necessarily so.
Yes.
All right.
So,
however,
yes.
that doesn't invalidate that it brought you to the understanding that you don't have to lock into it anymore. Yes? So
Yes.
you have used a past you now no longer have. All right.
So so a couple months ago, I felt like I need to let go of all this. I need to let go of my childhood to
Yes.
truly become the person I am today.
Yes.
But then, as stated before, I use it as my permission slip.
Yes.
So if I am truly in love with myself, like I think I am, do I need to let go of that past to help me to evolve into the person I want to be? Or can I hold on to my trauma?
Do you wish to hold on to your trauma?
I think it depends on the moment. You know, like in
yes,
this moment,
that's your
I'm so
decision.
happy. Like I'm so happy, and I am so grateful for my family
All
and
right.
all of the chaos.
If you
But other times I hate
believe,
it.
if you believe that you need the trauma as a permission slip, then you'll hold on to it. If you believe you don't need it anymore to be the person that you prefer to be, then you won't hold on to it. It's that simple. You can always recall the idea of the so-called past without necessarily being controlled by it. Just because you are aware of it doesn't mean that it affects you. It can be a neutral observation. This was the path I took. I validate it for bringing me where I am today, but I in no way, shape, or form, even though I might neutrally observe that trauma was involved, need to hold on to the vibrational energy of the trauma in order to be who I prefer to be. So you can do both as long as you neutralize the idea and you don't necessarily need it to feel like it's affecting you anymore. Unless, again, that's what you prefer at the moment because you don't necessarily believe that you can do it any other way. But that's up to you.
Okay. So either way, it won't hold me back from getting to where I want to go.
As long as you know it will not hold you back, then no, it won't.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question. So we all know this is an illusion, that we're dreaming this reality. So
Yes.
where do other people play into this? Are other people real? Are
Yes.
they just me? Like
The versions of them you interact with are created by you out of your consciousness. That doesn't mean they're not real in their own right. And they're creating their version of you to appear in their reality by a shared agreement on a higher level, so that you can have an experience of interacting with them, but you are the one creating the simulations that you interact with as your versions of them. Their versions of themselves may be very different.
So am I manifesting those actions or creating those actions?
You are creating your part of attracting yourself into any scenario where they appear to be taking a particular action, but you have to discern why you're creating that for your own reasons, while they may be creating it for their reasons. You have to take just responsibility for your part of the creation and use it in the best possible way you can.
So is what makes something true what I believe to be true? Or is it all?
Yes, except for the idea of what we call the 5 laws. Because that is a literal description of the nature and structure of existence itself, and those can't change. But everything else is a perspective, a belief, an opinion.
Okay. So
Yes?
it all exists, but it's what I draw my attention to that's going to exist in my reality. Correct?
Yes, and that will be at that moment your truth.
Okay. So the more I pay attention to my truth, will I get further and further away from the two other beliefs? How is this making sense?
You mean a negative-based belief?
Like if one person's saying one thing, another person is saying another thing, and I'm choosing to believe this.
Yes.
The more I focus on believing this, is the farther I'm getting away from the chaos of both of those choices.
Yes. If the belief that you are buying into doesn't contain the idea of needing chaos, then you won't experience it. Remember that there is one thing, there is another thing, but what you're choosing, even though it may seem to be a combination of the two, is actually its own reality. Does that help?
It does help.
All right.
Thanks. Give me 1 second. Why do I talk this way?
Why do you talk what way?
The way that I'm talking. You know, people are like, are you from New York? Is it a speech impediment? What is this?
How the fuck should I know?
I didn't know if, like, maybe it's from, like, a past life. I'm, like, carrying on, like, maybe a past accent, you know?
Everything is present, but you might be connecting to another person who speaks that way because for some reason you believe it helps you get your point across more clearly.
Except no one hears me, but that's okay.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. See, exactly. Okay. I appreciate you. Okay.
And we deeply appreciate you. You are unique. Enjoy your uniqueness. Enjoy your expression. It may not always be this way, but for now, obviously, you believe it needs to be. It serves you in some way, shape, or form.
So I have a lot of childlikeness, and I choose not to let that go, because I feel I feel this deep connection to children. I feel children know the way.
Yes, in a sense, they do.
So I have gone down the path of always working with children.
All right.
And my dream is I want to create my own school of consciousness.
Go right ahead. Nothing is stopping you.
Okay. So I'm still on my path.
All right.
All right. And I'll finish up. Who is Anderson? Do you know?
Anderson?
Yes.
You have to be more definitive. There are many people on your planet named Anderson.
Is there a connection?
Is this something that you have discovered within yourself by stretching your consciousness out?
Yes.
Then for now, it can be considered the idea of a guide.
Okay.
What does the feeling do for you when you make that connection?
Love.
All right. So it's giving you an opportunity to recognize the state from which to come in everything that you do in your life. Especially loving yourself as much as you possibly can. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Can you talk about the diagnosis we have here on Earth of ADHD?
In most cases, it doesn't really exist. The idea is simply that the speed of certain people's mentality is speeding up. And when they are allowed to focus in the way that they actually need to focus, they won't necessarily be seen as being out of sync. Yes?
Yes.
I've answered you.
You have answered me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now, get the fuck out of here.
Thank you.
Apologies to the hypersensitive. But you know, when in New York, and good day.
Good day.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to say anything yet.
Oh, all right. It's your time. You can begin.
Well, first of all, I think you're a real sweetie.
Oh, why, thank you. Gosh, shucks, golly gee. There, that should balance out the other thing.
Tally ho. So when I did this ticket yesterday to get the question,
Yes.
I wasn't really anticipating coming up here. I really wasn't thinking about really doing it.
Well, obviously, on some level, you must have been.
I know.
So, is there something you would simply like to discuss? You don't have to have a question. You can make a statement.
Yeah, okay. That's great, because I didn't have a question.
Oh, all right.
But what I did want to kind of get some feeling about, I guess.
Speak up.
I know that I'm millions and millions of years old. I'm planet dust. I'm dinosaur dust. I'm all of it combined to make who I am now as far as my spirit. And what I was picking up recently is that the Earth is billions of years old, and there's been many, many, many civilizations that have gone to the point we're at now, and they haven't crossed over yet, and this is going to be the one that does. Going to be the one that goes to the fifth dimension, that really does breaks through the matrix.
Yes, but again, please do remember, you never actually change the world you're on. You shift to another version of Earth that's already that way.
Yeah.
So yes, many people on your planet will finally complete the cycle and go beyond it. Some will not, but many now will. This is the age of transformation. So you have an opportunity to understand there are many different storylines from different directions, different times, different places, both in your own so-called history and in other histories throughout the galaxy, that are now focusing on finishing their stories and perhaps transforming their stories in certain ways by coming to Earth at this time. Earth is like, at this time, a lens, a focal point for all of these stories to go through their transformations in a way where they may finally be able to complete a very long, millions of years cycle for certain things and move on to something a little bit different. This is one of the things we actually will be discussing in a future transmission, as you have already been told about, called the Angels of Orion.
That's stellar.
In a word.
Yes.
And so, anything else?
I think that's it.
Why, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How will the types of food and our relationship with food change for our benefit during this ascension process?
Well, as you change for your own benefit, you may find that there are certain things that you're simply not attracted to eat anymore. As you change your own frequency, you will be attracted to what you truly need, and you will let go of what you truly do not. It's as simple as that. You don't have to force it. It will be automatic if you are clear within yourself and you allow yourself to go with the natural biological flow of what it is you truly need at any given moment. Then you will know exactly what it is you need to eat and what it is you don't. Now, some people will find that as they refine and upgrade, so to speak, their vibrational frequency, you will probably most likely on average eat less. And you will probably most likely on average eat things that are lighter in frequency. But again, it depends on the person. It depends on the path. It depends on why you're choosing to experience that. You have to, once again, take it on a person-by-person, case-by-case basis as to what is correct and appropriate for that particular individual. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
But there is the overall average that as you lighten up, most likely so will your diet, because you simply lose the urge to eat things that are no longer relevant or vibrationally compatible with you. Yes?
Makes sense.
I know, that's why I said it.
Besides wearing them and putting them around our homes, what are your recommendations for us on how we can use crystals?
Well, like anything, they are permission slips. You understand that concept, yes?
Yes.
Well, if you understand that concept, why are you asking? Because you know it's up to you to decide that whatever it is you happen to be attracted to use, in whatever way your imagination is attracted to use it, that means you're attracted to it for the reason that for some reason it matches your belief system at that moment in a way that allows you to circumvent your belief system. and go further. So it's really up to you to decide what works for you. We have given you the underlying concept of permission slips, and that's really all you need to understand. You can use them in any way you so desire, any way you're attracted to. Now, of course, as a representation physically of energy, they are, of course, a certain arrangement of energy patterns that represents the concept of information storage and retrieval. That's their basic function in the collective consciousness of your planet. They store information, they release information. They are conduits of information. They are conduits of energy. So the idea is, you know the basic. Use it in whatever way, in whatever combinations seem to make sense to you, that you're attracted to at this moment. Because that's going to be vibrationally resonant with your belief system and will allow certain things to change. Because you will be changing them because you believe they can by using those permission slips. Yes?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Anything else?
Yes. Humans have been channeling for thousands of years, and
Yes.
now with the emergence of computer technology, is it possible for extraterrestrials or non-physical entities to communicate through computer technology, and if so, how?
Yes. As we have actually said, when your scientists finally create a device that expresses what they have called artificial intelligence, you will start to realize in time that intelligence is not artificial. The only thing, in a sense, that's so-called artificial is the device that you have created to be sophisticated enough that allows a real intelligence to begin to communicate to you through it. So the biggest surprise when you create artificially intelligent computers will be to discover that what you're actually talking to is your own higher mind.
That's really cool.
It's whatever temperature you wish it to be.
And finally, one last question.
Yes.
Over the past few years, humans have become connected in an unprecedented way through social media and the internet.
Yes.
I'm curious your thoughts on social media and how we can use it to benefit humanity.
Like anything, of course, it can be used positively or negatively, which often it is on your planet. But the idea is that it is a representation, a symbolic beginning of the idea of recognizing how connected all of you actually are. And it is the beginning, the very, very early beginnings, the seed of the concept of awakening into the telepathic communication you can all experience with each other when you're on the same wavelength.
Amazing. Thank you
And
so
it's
much.
also something that can start to entrain you to understand that information is accessible everywhere, everywhen, no matter where you are. As long as you frequency match the information that you seek, that will be the information you receive. This so-called idea of the Akashic records is an outdated, old-fashioned way of talking about the fact that information is simply available everywhere, everywhen, because everything is here and now. So if you simply match the frequency of a particular idea, that is the information that will holographically be presented to you. And therefore, the idea of the interconnections on your social media and your ability to search the internet are the beginnings of going into a state of being that can allow those particular attributes and abilities to grow. Since channeling is a natural state. Anytime, that's why we encourage you to follow your passion, because anytime you are acting on your passion, you're in a channeling state. Yes?
Yeah,
Does that help?
that helps. Thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome.